Damn it, I did it again. Anyway, alright, welcome back to Let's Play Danganronpa. And now, we gotta find out how it was possible for Hifumi to agree to work with someone in the first place. This is another one we have to copy. It's...
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Yes, there was. No chance. That's what you've got.
Only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible.
How?
But that only really applies if there's one. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Okay. I'm not off to a good start here. I mean, this is my worst class trial so far. I'm going to be honest with you here.
Assuming the rule holds true.
Fuck you.
No, it's wrong.
Boom, shot you straight in the heart. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame.
Since there were two murders, it's at least
That'd be actually kind of cool. Like every time I like shoot it and make it good, I put oh my god.
If there'd only been one
Oh my
murder,
gosh,
then
Bon Jovi's
the idea of an accomplice
beginning
isn't really worth
of
considering.
You Give Love a Bad Name in there.
Naturally, if
Yeah.
only one
Shot
person
through the
is
heart.
per murder,
Be a quick
an
thing like
accomplice
that.
has no risk
But
versus
obviously,
reward
that
benefit.
costs that'd probably be a little
Risk
take a little more
versus
editing. I mean, I could do it, but then of course
the
I have to
payoff
kind
for
of
working
soundbite it.
together.
Yeah,
The reward
let's just
that balances out
let's
the risk of
not
taking
worry
part in
about
the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you.
that. True.
However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're
True.
saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
Right.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime.
Yes.
And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders.
Right.
Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And
Yep.
it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look.
Yep.
A single suspicious
There has to be
individual,
someone.
a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
Yep.
The mastermind picked
So-
their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which,
Correct.
if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
Why you gotta
So,
be so
I can't help
cool?
but admire its
Don't
cunning.
you know I'm human?
Still, their choice of accomplice
And
seems
Byakuya,
odd.
shut your mouth. There's only one person that could really fit under it. So, Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. How's that a bad thing, Makoto? Like, I almost unnaturally
Ah, I understand
oh, okay.
how an
Yeah,
accomplice
yep,
could
okay.
be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's
Obviously.
problem numero uno right now.
Well, there's only really one person that fits under all of this. When you consider all of that, only one person who seems to fit, and of course, there's only one person that would think of it, and of course it is Celeste.
Here's my answer.
So, Celeste,
It was Celeste.
is your game up?
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am
You are.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke?
Uh-huh.
I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
Hifumi.
The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him,
Okay.
that I would work within 10 feet of that shit
Whoa.
that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Okay, Celeste is... her
Her
whole accent is kind of
Just
falling
to be
apart
clear,
here.
there is evidence to support it.
Yes,
Is
there
that
is.
so?
It is.
Super
Throughout
so.
the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Yep. They're the only ones that encountered the suspicious individual.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Right.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Are you serious, Bianca?
Sorry.
Don't
As
apologize,
you said,
Makoto.
only Celeste and Hifumi
You're the one that
ever
pointed
laid
it
eyes
all
on
out
the custody
anyway. You're the one that
individual.
figured everything
If
out.
we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits,
Like,
we
seriously,
can't
Makoto,
help
don't
but
be such a
suspect
fucking
what
pushover.
Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
Everything was
After
a lie.
taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
Correctoro uno
And not too long after
monologo.
that, do you remember what Celeste said?
Around the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen.
Right.
Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She had the weird scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Flashbacks. She said that she saw the strange individual.
Once she'd done her job
Again,
of getting
if you
us
wanna
all up to the physics lab,
Realize this. Watch
it was time for her partner to get to
the
work.
previous parts before the trial. Watch like the 3 parts before the trial started. Which is part... I don't even remember. I don't even remember this part is. This might be part 30. Or it's pretty close to 30. I know that for sure. That we're close to 30. Probably end this at like a 50 part. This is going to be a pretty long Let's Play. Not to mention Danganronpa 2 is going to be a long one as well.
It was to get us to divide into 2 groups.
I didn't skip that.
So
Oh well.
that we
That's
would
fine.
discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact,
Right.
Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Uh-huh. And of course, she made it so it was 3
Well,
people each.
if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
Yeah, that cry.
Ah!
Haha.
That was to signal Hifumi.
Oh,
wasn't
I
it?
guess I thought I was gonna.
It was your way of
Be
telling
more
him
of a-
we're on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Everything's going according to plan.
Right.
Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
Across the sea. Lovely.
I just
Lovely
realized
take there.
another strange thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead, Celeste,
Murdered.
you were the first one to say he'd been murdered.
Right.
You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
So it's kind of odd.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
I know, Hina. I
you were
know.
with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared,
bullshit.
right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait. Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you.
All
She just saw a
lie.
chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
Ugly.
I have no idea what you mean.
Excuse me.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh,
You
leave
did.
that.
I
Excuse
didn't
me.
even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
It's one little slip up that anyone
What
would
are you
notice
talking about?
almost.
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
Yes. They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die, just like those guys died.
I remember
Yep.
her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room.
Right.
Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I
Right.
left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office.
Right.
Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Oh, I thought
Yeah, I see what
something
you're
weird
talking
happened.
about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said?
Not
If you're
me.
really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Right. There it is. Way. That's too easy. Alright. Yep, this is another one we have to copy. I believe it's the last one we actually have to copy.
All I said
Okay.
was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are
I don't
all
remember her
going to
saying
die
that.
here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
It's like those guys
And
died.
that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it?
It's
what was
super
so strange
obvious.
about Celeste's comment?
You know, you really have to wonder, like, okay, how in the world would you have to do this? Because
All I
obviously you
said
want to
was-
keep hearing this. I mean,
They must
I'm just
really be
applying video
enjoying
game
this.
logic into real life
Enjoying
logic,
the sight
so
of us
that's my
standing
first mistake.
around, frightened and confused. They must be positively we are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those.
And boom!
No, that's wrong.
That's super wrong. Ultra wrong. Why is it showing hero? Oh well.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
Right.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Yes.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall.
Yes.
There was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
Right.
So how did you know, Celeste?
How did you
How did you
know?
know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys?
Right.
Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's, like, impossible for her to die.
You all have
Huh?
such vivid imaginations. You know that?
How is this imaginative?
Imaginations.
Like,
You
seriously?
claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw.
Right.
Then what about the picture I took?
Oh my gosh. We're not even talking about this.
How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right?
Yeah.
So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to
No.
set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit.
Right.
Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away.
Is it though?
If everything I
Is it
told you was a
though?
lie, how can this picture exist?
Mm,
Simple.
Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
yes,
What
is
could you
it?
possibly mean by that?
Well,
Surely there are other
You know.
explanations than the one you've offered up.
yeah.
No, there is no other explanation.
I think there is. You know, there might be. Most likely. I mean, come on. Just looking at the picture. If it wasn't the picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, then what could it be? Well, let's think of the other way around. Hifumi
I got it!
is dragging the suspect away. There's
It's
suspicion,
not a
maybe,
picture
whatever.
of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
Right.
That's certainly within the
Yeah.
realm of possibility.
That is.
The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit.
Which would be Hero.
We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
Yes.
And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther.
Even
If you
farther.
saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Right, he did. They did. Uh-oh.
Such a thing
Such
is
a thing.
utterly impossible.
How?
Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Oh.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Neither do I.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Oh. Being a little snappy, is she? Well, I can be snappy too, bitch. You didn't see, but I was flipping her off. Okay, she wasn't even on screen, but I was flipping her off in my mind. Like, she was the one in front of me on my screen, not Makoto. Alrighty. More bullets for me. Well, obviously.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Taking your friends.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture,
Doubting
the
your
suspect
friends.
is standing perfectly upright.
Right.
If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Wrong.
No, that's wrong.
Remember how the Robo Justice suit is like.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that.
Right.
Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Very certain easy characteristic. Okay. Don't
That's
need to
right.
be reminded all the time
They
about
totally made a
flashbacks.
mistake when they
Seriously,
made
that
it,
gets a little
so it
annoying
couldn't bend
sometimes.
at the waist.
Right.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Oh.
Celeste and
That's a
Hifumi
new
took
portrait
the
of
suit they
Celeste.
specially designed and stuffed Hero into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing.
Fake it all. Fake it
The
all.
point of it all was to make
Fake
us
it all.
believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Cause we're all to blame.
Well then, I
Okay.
suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate.
Checkmate?
Why is she spinning?
What do you mean, checkmate?
And her whole thing just dropped.
Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Right. Oh, ooh, that would have been bad. Yeah.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hatakure!
Her voice is going
My
up
name
and
is
down.
Yasuhiro.
It's going high pitched and then
Actually, Taro.
Your
Taro,
confusing
Taro, Taro.
statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
yeah. So
He
zip
did
it.
say Yasuhiro. But are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
Nope.
What the hell are you talking
wasn't.
about? I'll burn you alive!
That's gonna be
Kyoko,
ironic, pretty soon.
what do you mean by that?
Well, what?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us.
How he used to talk
How
to
did
us.
he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names. People's last names.
That's
People's
right.
last names.
Our
Said
last
their
names.
last names
called
and
us
my
all by
last
our last
names.
names.
A lot.
Exactly.
A lot.
I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example.
Mr. Naegi. Mr.
So if
Naegi.
Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure
Okay.
it was just incidental. By chance,
Incidental.
he just his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Yeah, don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient
Seriously,
explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal.
true.
But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So
Right.
Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste.
It's Celeste.
She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say?
We
think
said Celeste
you
isn't
take
your
your
real name.
False accusation. So far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit. Come on! Enough with your idiotic bladder.
I love this voice
Yasuhiro
actress too. I
is
can't
a
remember her
loser's
name though, and that
Do
pisses
I
me off. I'm
look
gonna
like
have
a
to look it
loser
up.
To you? Well, do I? What?
Yeah, kind of.
I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay,
Ah,
then fill
probably.
us in. What's your real name?
Yes, tell us.
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, gee, what's one of the things in here we haven't used yet? It's gonna be pretty obvious what we're gonna use.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
Excuse me for that.
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
how many times do I have to tell you? My name is Celestia Ludenberg. God damn it!
I love that's upside down
How
too.
long do you plan to go on pretending?
I love it when the masters. I love it when masters yell at people.
It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
Boom.
No.
We do.
That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right?
Correct.
Monokuma told us all about it before.
Yeah, he told us like when he handed them out. He told us every single time. So this trial is pretty much to an. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot I was in a
So all we
flashback.
have to do is check her handbook.
I
and
apologize
that'll
for
clear up
that.
Everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
Her real name.
That's an invasion of privacy.
I
refuse to
mean,
cooperate.
it is.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened?
Just tell us.
Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up.
Okay.
Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Okay.
Fine then. Let me settle it.
I'll settle
Let
this
me go over the case again, from
with
the
my
beginning,
closing
and shed light
argument.
on all your crimes.
Don't worry, I was
And
like,
that'll
I was
bring everything to
thinking,
an
it's like,
end.
I'll settle this with my closing argument in the next part. But I'm not doing that. No. The class trial is ending right now. Okay. Well, obviously that. And obviously Yasuhiro came in at 1. Yasuhiro. And obviously camera. And then what time Taka did well, obviously this is the only picture with a wristwatch. I really hate that Taco. I really hate that Taka died. I mean, he was like one of my favorites. Okay. So is this the Justice Hammer? Yep, okay, yeah, that's the Justice Hammer. System 3. All those people. He's pushing that. Look at Hifumi's like dance. Poor Hifumi. Poor Taka and Hifumi. Alright, you know the drill.
The killer is
Listening
you.
to the closing arguments, and I will be back after it's done. Because
anything,
I feel like it's
the
bad if
killer
I just
persuaded
talked over
someone to
these.
help
So
carry
here
out
you
the
go.
murder.
You know,
And that person
but that's
was-
fine. That's fine.
Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is... Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
Complete.
Lost?
Yeah,
lost?
you kind of lost there,
When
Celeste.
was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They
I don't know, when was it?
Around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Do you?
Listen to you, trying to take charge. As if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
Tayako.
So, you finally accepted it.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
But you've lost a long time ago, and yet you let it drag on for a long time, but whatever. I'll let it slide this time since you actually said your real name for once. Yeah, no perfect scores for us. Good news is, though, they're all A's. 99 coins, I can live with that. Alright. In the next part of Let's Play Danganronpa, we'll see how it all unfolds and the end of Chapter 3. So see you guys in the next part.